Red Bull Racing is cracking under pressure, and the storm is only getting louder. Yuki Tsunoda's promotion hasn't paid off, the second seat remains a cursed mystery, and Max Verstappen's loyalty might be running on fumes. With Christian Horner out and the team bleeding talent, 2025 is starting to feel like the last chapter of a dominant era. Inside the garage, whispers are turning into exit strategies. Meanwhile, young guns are circling like sharks to replace Verstappen and Yuki at Red Bull. In today's video, we will break down the mess, the moves, and what might come next. So stick around and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe for updates, and let's get into it. Yuki Tsunoda's Red Bull tenure wasn't much prettier. He was brought in to steady the ship after Liam Lawson's two-race crash course flopped.
Wide and off, and Liam Lawson finds the grass. He was in touching distance, but it all fell apart.
But instead of consistency, it's been underwhelming weekends, one after another. 10 races down, and he is sitting on just 7 points. But since Imola, he's got 0 points, repeated Q1 knockouts, and a pace gap that's impossible to ignore. At Red Bull, that's not just a slump, it's a career death wish. Let's be real, this wasn't just a see what happens deal. Red Bull pulled the trigger on Tsunoda early in the season to save their second seat. They expected him to hold his own next to Verstappen, not get gapped. But he's been nowhere near. Even 17-year-old Arvid Lindblad matched his pace in British GP practice, and that kid hasn't even made his debut yet. Guenther Steiner didn't sugarcoat it either. Yuki needs to make points. Otherwise, he's out, maybe before the end of the year. It's simply true, but does that mean Tsunoda's little fairy tale with Red Bull is over? With Honda exiting and Red Bull planning for life post-2025, Tsunoda's days are numbered. The experiment failed, and now the seat hunting starts. But if Tsunoda's on the way out, is Verstappen staying? Or is the whole house starting to crumble? Max Verstappen holds all the cards, and he knows it. While Red Bull slides into chaos, Max is still dragging results out of the RB21, but even he can't mask the cracks anymore. He's 69 points behind Oscar Piastri in the title race, and Red Bull's sitting 4th in the Constructors, a staggering 288 points off McLaren. This isn't a title fight, it's damage control. And Mercedes? They've already rolled out the red carpet. CEO Ola Kalenius gave the green light, Toto Wolff is making moves behind the scenes, and all Max needs to do is break free. And guess what? There's a performance clause in his contract. If Red Bull's out of the top 4 by the summer break, he can walk. Right now, they're clinging to 4th by a thread. Money? Not an issue. Verstappen's on a $75 million deal. Mercedes says, no problem. All signs point to 2026. Max is in silver, the biggest switch since Hamilton left McLaren. The timing is perfect. Red Bull's unraveling. The brains have left. The faith is fading. If Tsunoda was Red Bull's warning shot, Verstappen's exit would be the nuke, and Mercedes is standing by with the detonator. If losing races wasn't enough, Red Bull is losing people. First, Christian Horner, now Adrian Newey, Jonathan Wheatley, and Rob Marshall, all pillars of the team's success. One by one, they've walked. What remains is a shell of what once ruled the grid. Johnny Herbert summed it up. It's very shaky at the moment. The right people are disappearing one by one. Newey, the mastermind behind 4 titles for both Vettel and Verstappen, has defected to Aston Martin. Wheatley, the pit wall wizard, is gone. Marshall, a strategic mind, is also gone. This isn't a rebuild, it's a collapse. And what's worse, the timing couldn't be worse. F1 is heading into its biggest technical shift in years in 2026, and Red Bull is bleeding expertise when they need it most. Now, Laurent Mekies has been thrown into the storm. He's experienced, sure, but he's no Horner. It's still unclear why Red Bull is letting the wild cards fall this easily, even at the most crucial stage of the season. With that, Red Bull is not just making things worse. Instead, they are inviting new landmines to cross, like if Verstappen walk away, they will be stuck with looking for the next Max Verstappen, which they will not find, of course. And yes, Red Bull won't just need one new driver, they'll need 2. And here are the 2 names surfacing if things did not go well: Isaac Hadjar and Arvid Lindblad. Hadjar's consistency and qualifying pace at Racing Bulls have turned heads. He's been outperforming Lawson and looks solid on Sundays, but does he have the killer instinct Red Bull demands? Then there's Lindblad, the 17-year-old dubbed the next Verstappen by Helmut Marko himself. He's raw, fast, and getting more F1 test mileage than most rookies ever get. Red Bull doesn't give that kind of prep unless they're serious. Remember, they threw Verstappen into the main team at 18. They've done this before. If Verstappen stays, Lindblad may slot in as his apprentice. If Verstappen leaves, Red Bull could roll the dice with 2 rookies and embrace a rebuild. Either way, the future of Red Bull's lineup will be unlike anything we've seen in years, and it could redefine how they attack 2026's new era. Now, with Horner out, Newey gone, and Verstappen's future in limbo, Mickey's is the man tasked with saving Red Bull's future. But here's the thing, he's never led a team like this before. He's got just 12 races left in 2025 to right the ship before the biggest regulation change of the decade comes into effect. Red Bull will build their engine with Ford for the first time. By comparison, Mercedes is already rumored to have the best 2026 power unit. If Red Bull stumbles here, the price isn't just poor results, it's losing their relevance altogether. And Mekis must do it with a fractured technical team and a driver lineup in flux. His advantage? Over 20 years of experience in Formula One, a new factory being built, and the possibility of equal car development in 2026. Not one built just for Max. But even with those advantages, there's no sugarcoating it. He's facing one of the toughest jobs in F1 today. And while Mekis tries to hold things together, Aston Martin is quietly building something big, with a man Red Bull should never have let walk. While Red Bull implodes, Aston Martin is quietly stacking its cards for 2026. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll are locked in. Honda is on board. And the biggest piece? Adrian Newey, the architect of 4 Red Bull championships, is now sketching their next rocket ship. Andy Cowell says Newey is already pushing the boundaries with Aston's 2026 chassis. Tight packaging, wild aerodynamics, rapid development, it's all happening behind the scenes. With Honda providing the power and Newey designing the car, Aston could launch into the title picture just as Red Bull stumbles. Meanwhile, Tsunoda may find himself there, rumored to be joining as a reserve driver thanks to his Honda ties. He'd go from being unwanted at Red Bull to becoming part of F1's most intriguing dark horse project. After a 3-week breather, the grid storms into Spa-Francorchamps for round 13. It has high speed, high drama, and is dripping with history. With elevation, slipstreams, and legendary corners like Eau Rouge and Pouhon, this isn't just another race, it's a mid-season pressure cooker on a record-breaking 24-race calendar. In the end, here's the sum up on today's video. Tsunoda's time is almost up. Verstappen might finally jump ship, and Red Bull's future could be built on teenage talent. Helmut Marko has decisions to make, Laurent Mekis has a crisis to manage, and 2026 is coming like a freight train. Meanwhile, Mercedes waits with open arms, and Aston Martin, armed with Newey and Honda, is quietly building a monster. The once invincible Red Bull empire, it's on edge. Do you think Max will leave for Mercedes? And who do you think Red Bull will bring to replace him? Comments below, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what could be F1's most dramatic shakeup yet.